Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show, and in today's episode, I wanted to talk on, when anybody, I've seen where adults, kids, it's something that I've always seen, like, in all aspects of my life, where there are people out there that will disrespect their parents, and it is so crazy. Like, my thing is this, because there could be a lot of reasons. There could be so many different reasons out there on why an individual will disrespect their parents. And I feel like the leading reason is because a parent is not there enough. So they feel like that they need to just overall disrespect their parents in all, like, all ways possible. And the thing is like, if I had, because, I'm not trying to, like, make it seem like that, like, oh, I had, like, the perfect life, all of that. There's things in life, like, throughout, like, my childhood where it's like I wanted it, couldn't get it, asked my parents, they would say no. It's like, of course, being a kid, like, you're mad at that moment, but it's like, as the time goes on, it's like, you can't even, like, my thing is this, like, and I know people probably look at it, be all like, you can't necessarily compare that to a parent not being there. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But I feel like that it's that same level of anger. It is that same level of anger whether, you have your parent there and they're not getting something for you, or your parent's not there and there's something, like, like, either way, it's like still that same level. And I feel like, and this is my thing, where it's like, all kids out there, you're going to have it at a point in time where your parent upsets you. You're going to have it at a point in time, especially if you have siblings, where it's like they take up your sibling side more than you, whatever it is, whatever the situation is. It's like, yeah, there's gonna be, and that's every family. That's every household. That's every family. A kid is going to be mad at the parent. A parent is going to be mad at the kid. That is life. You are not the first one to deal with whatever you're dealing with. And a lot of times, or it's like, even if it's not some stuff like it's, well, I mean, yeah, it's serious as like a parent not being there. If it's on some other stuff where it's like, me personally, and I know people are going to be all like, well, you had both your parents there, so that's why you're speaking on how you're speaking, but put yourself in the shoes of if you didn't have your parent there. I have. I have put myself, and the thing is like, when I see situations out there where there have been people where their parent wasn't there, and they can talk to their parent today, chill with their parent today, all that crap, and I'm like, fam, like, that's the life that I would want. My thing is this, and it's like, I also kind of wanted to talk on that too, but when people hold grudges, because my thing is this, even if it's not even my parents, even if it's on some like random people and stuff, I'm not going to hold any grudges towards anybody. I just don't have it in me to hold grudges towards anybody. It's pointless. Like, my thing is this, to go my whole life, all right, trying to, because even I remember when I was a kid, and I remember I would go through these, like, time periods when I would kind of give my sister, like, the silent treatment, wouldn't talk with her, wouldn't interact with her, like, she would be out doing her thing, I'm over at my, area doing my own little thing, she would try to engage in a conversation with me, get up, walk away, act like I don't even hear what she's saying, like, I would, and that was just something that both me and her, that we would do to each other. When we were mad at each other, we would stay giving each other the silent treatment. It would take, like, some neighbors outside going crazy or something, and we just looking at each other like, dang, they really out there doing that. Like, I'm trying to think, like, I remember there was a time where me and my sister, we was like, we went at it, we were mad at each other, and I think it was like some neighbor stuff, and we were kind of just like, and it's funny how like those type of things will like bring you and your relative like together, or just anybody, it could be anybody and stuff, because I'm saying, if it's some stuff that goes down in me and an individual that I'm not really cool with, if we both looking at it, I'm like looking like, dang. But the thing is though, it's like, I still couldn't just hold that grudge. I just felt like, like, hey, put our differences aside, we move on with our lives. If it's like if it's a constant thing where it's like, we stay like having like issues with each other, then it's like, I'm not even gonna have myself involved with the individual, but I'm not gonna have hatred towards them. Like, if they want to like have where things are squashed and things is permanently squashed and we're not gonna have any issues, I'm like, all right, cool, let's work on that. Because I feel like, especially at a young age, like when you're a kid, your mind is still developing, you're still developing as a person. So like you ain't gonna really understand the value of having people there. And I feel like a lot of people don't know that. They ain't gonna understand the value of having people there. It's like you go your whole life having a grudge on somebody. Like you have that mentality from when you were a kid, and then you grow up with that mentality. I'm telling you right now, it's like you gonna notice it being very, very empty around you. And me, like at a young age, I felt like that kind of developed a little bit earlier than a lot of other people. I mean, there's probably people out there that's also developed a mindset like myself, but overall, like, you know, like holding grudges towards people, like the reason why I say, like, you know, overall, like, the reason why I don't hold grudges, because I feel like I learned it at a young age, where it's like, you know, when you apologize, like, when you realize you're in the wrong, and you realize that individual's in the wrong, and you both come to a mutual agreement, it's like, hey, we were in the wrong, sorry, shake hands, dab each other up, give each other a little hug or something, whatever the situation is, it's like, you know, when you put those things aside, I'm like, that's so much better. It's a better feeling rather than holding in a grudge. And every time when you see that individual, you always gotta be mad at them. You always gotta be upset with them. Like, there are people that I went to school with where it's like, if it still would have been high school me, like in this day and age, definitely wouldn't had nothing to say to them. Mean looks, like ready to throw hands, all that stuff. Now I'm at a point in time in my life where I'm all like, I don't care. Like, I got my own things to worry about. I got my own life. I ain't trying to be if they want to still be on some energy where they want to be all like hostile, or, you know, they want to like say some things trying to get underneath my skin and upset me, I'm all like, hey, if you still want to act like you in high school, that is on you. I'm gonna be over here acting like an adult, okay? So, yeah, it's like, but it's things like that where I'm like, even if a person is still on that energy, I'm like, I ain't gonna waste my time on that. I'm like, I got better things to be doing. If that's how you want to carry on, that's how you want to carry on. I'm like, when you want to grow up and act like an adult, hey, I'm all like, you know, I'm over here, all right? So, and that's why I feel like a lot of times, like, you know, where, like, you know, people with, like, that anger that they hold against their parents and stuff, like, I don't know how many times, like, when I've heard situations and stuff like that, like, I think back when I was a kid, and I see situations, like, on TV, I see situations, like, you know, actually, like, right there and stuff, and at the time, like, it's funny, but then as you get, like, grow older, then you are, like, it ain't so funny anymore and stuff. So, like, they showing some, like, nasty things on TV right now, so I got a little minor distraction and things, but now it's like pitch black. Like, my TV was like my light right now. I mean, I'm not even like, you know, recording any video and things, but I'm like, I just like some form of light and things going on in my room. Where's my, dang, I can't even find my lamp. So, but alright, anyways, moving on and stuff. But no, like, when I think back as a kid, like, I always would see, like, I remember I would see the one TV show, Nanny 911. And, I mean, even though they wasn't, I mean, well, they'll show in the beginning of the episode when they acting all crazy and hostile towards the parents. Now, you know, it's kids, man. It's kids. That's, you know, what kids do and stuff. But as I grow older and I see that, I'm all like, what has that kid got in their heart to where they got to carry on like that? Like, that's one thing where I'm like, bruh, I'm not even a parent. But when I'm, like, out and about, right, I'm, like, either, like, at Target, you know, trying to find, like, some electronic, or if I'm at, like, Foot Locker or wherever and things, getting some shoes. But if I'm anywhere, right, and I see a kid acting up, cutting up, whatever, and they screaming, crying all loud, I'm like, what does that kid got going on in their life to where they need to be crying out loud like that? Like, seriously, like, I think back on when I was a kid, like, that wasn't even allowed. That was something where it's like, you can see a kid doing that, but don't you dare. Like, in my head, I am telling myself, don't you dare carry on like that out in public. Yeah, I think I might have, like, a couple of incidents out when I was, like that and stuff, but other than that, I'm like, nah, man, I was chilling when I was a kid, alright? I'd just be going around just touching everything. It's like, that's what kids do, okay? I was a toucher. I was the one, I'm like, you know, see some, like, light fixtures at Home Depot, and I'm like sitting there holding on to it as if I really know what this stuff does. I'm like, that's the type of kid that I was, alright? That's what kids need to be. Y'all kids just need to be like the looker, the touching, you know, things in Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever and things. You go in Walmart, you just be looking at the random stuff you don't even need to be looking at. You know, you go and grab like some car oil, you just look at it, I'm like, huh, that's some unique car oil. But no, it's like, I'm saying, like, but when I see how I was acting when I was a kid versus like how So I'm like, bro, I see kids like, and they just, the way that they be crying and screaming out in public, I'm like, why? Like, my thing is this: the day when I have a kid, I'm not even gonna, because I think like in most parents, they be like, oh, you know, take him out in the back and whoop him and things. I'm like, I ain't even gonna do that to my kid. Like, I'm gonna try to teach my kid like, you know, some talkative stuff like at a young age. So I'm like, so I can just sit there and just be asking them like, why? What are you crying for? You want a Hot Wheel car? It's like, do you think, I'm like, when you get to my age, do you think carrying on like this, like that's gonna get you anywhere? It's like, it's not, fam. Like, literally, it's not. Like, stop that. It's like, there is no reason to be crying like that loud and stuff. Or just try to like mimic them and mock them and stuff. I'm like, you see how you acting right now? Like, I start crying. I'm like, this how you acting. I'm like, you see how shocked and look you? That's me right now. But I'm just more so like, I'm confused because I'm like, there ain't no reason to be crying like that. So, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like that don't really have anything to do with what I was like originally talking about, like holding like some anger towards your parents or just overall disrespecting your parents. I mean, I feel like that could be a level of disrespect, but it's more so than like embarrassing. Like, why, fam? Like, come on now. It's like there's other kids. I'm like, you see that black kid over there with the big head talking on myself? I'm like, you don't see him acting like that and things because he's been checked before for doing stuff like that. He ain't trying to get in the back end because I'm like, it could be a situation like that. I know a lot of people are probably thinking or probably ask me that question, like, would I ever whoop my kids? I've thought to that to myself. I'm like, I don't see myself doing that. Like, if anything, I'm gonna try to reason with them, but I just don't overall see myself doing no stuff like that. I was a kid that got whooped because I was bad. I'm like, I'm gonna try to just overall think of a plan. I'm like, okay, I'm about to go up to this store. I know they got toys. I'm like, I know my kid gonna cry and all that stuff. So I'm gonna try to maneuver, maybe go on a little ride, have him take like a nap and things and just, just like wait till he's like he or she is like real tired and stuff. And I'm like, okay, going to the store, gotta take him. I'm like, dang, but I am gonna have to carry them the whole time, and I know that's gonna be exhausting. So that's when you just gotta be a parent. You just gotta be hitting the gym and stuff. You gotta be lifting weights and things. So I would try to like get my muscle physique before the time does come when I have kids and stuff. But I know, like, people are going to probably ask me, like, what am I going to do when I have kids? And then they being disrespectful. Like, they saying something like, shut up, Dad. I hate you. You make me sick. I wish you would die. I would look at them and just be all like, you got that level of anger in you for what? Like, for what reason? Like, my thing is this. I'm like, there's never been a time where I've ever been that upset at my parents. Never. I'm like, and even if they had said some things, they did some things, I'm like, and I just didn't fully understand or didn't like it, I'm like, still can't have that level of anger towards your parents. There's no reason for it. Even if it's a situation where it's like, and I don't think I will ever be like that with my kids. I'm like, if I bring it, my thing is this. I bring a kid into this world. I'm like, I'm struggling with that kid. It's like, my thing is this. I'm like, I'm overall gonna make sure of it where it's like, I am involved in my kid's life. I'm like, if it's a struggle, I'm like, then it's a struggle. If it kills me, it kills me. But I'm like, I just want that kid to know it's like, you had somebody, like, if I'm like no longer here while a kid, I'm like, but you overall like had somebody there for you and stuff. I may not be here forever, but like overall, I'm like, I am here for you as the time I am alive and stuff. So, but yeah, I just think that overall, it's like, when you see and hear kids being disrespectful like that, because there is the one movie, I talked on that movie numerous times. In fact, actually, I think the time I did bring it up was when I was talking on that racist dude that was joining my streams, and he was talking on like some stuff like, oh, like it's not racist to turn somebody down over the color of their skin. I'm like, yeah, that's just ignorance. I'm like, yeah, I can understand, parents not, like, if a parent's not there, and I'm like, okay, then yeah, you gonna turn around and say some stuff like that. I can see why you would be mad at your parents, because they got you out here getting embarrassed online and stuff, thinking along those lines and things. So, but anyways, but no, like, so there was this movie that I did mention at that time and place when it's called Imitation of Life. And whole movie, like, the one girl is just being mad disrespectful to her mom. Like, it's one of those movies where it's all like, well, when you like see the ending, and I am going to say the ending and stuff, and I think everybody kind of can take a hint on what that ending is. But yeah, it's like you go your like whole life, like, being disrespectful and stuff. And then when you see the ending, it's like, I don't know, like me, I don't really feel bad for the girl. Like, it's like cause I mean, it's like, it's sad to see what she's going through, but at the same time, it's all like, well, I mean, look at how you were acting for like the past 2 hours. Like, they show it's like 2 movies put in one. It's like they had the first one and then the sequel. And I'm like, you mean to tell me in like two different versions of this movie? Well, not two different versions, but like two different times within this movie where it's like you got where you're a child at one point and then you're an adult at another point. And it's like, fam, like, well, what did you expect? Like, so anyways, talking on the ending of the movie. So the mom ends up dying. And then they end up having like this big, like, you know, funeral and stuff. And then, then she ends up, like, showing up, like, a day late and $1 short to the funeral and stuff. And it's like, they already taken her body to the grave. She missed the whole ceremony, the songs and all that stuff. And, well, not ceremony, but the remembrance. I don't know what they necessarily call, like, that part where they talking on the person and stuff at the church or whatever. But anyway, she missed that part. And then, yeah, she was like, then it got to the end where they were carrying her body to, like, her grave, and then she's all at the, like the Hertz, like, thing. It wasn't a Hertz. I mean, it was a Hertz, but it was one of those, like, horse ones that they was, like, they had, like, the horse pulling and stuff. I think it was like that. But anyways, she's, like, all crying and all that stuff. Honestly, that movie needs to be remade. I'm like, that's a movie where I'm like, it's a classic movie that needs to be remade. So, like, people could get a better understanding. It's like, you know, and the crazy thing is, it's like the mom that she wasn't even doing anything crazy to the daughter and stuff. So it was like the daughter was the crazy one, but when I see things like that, when it's just kids just be like mad or just adults, whoever, it's like you being mad. It's like despite what they did, because I'm like, even on some like realistic stuff where it's like, there's this preacher named Joyce Myers. I ain't gonna get into details on what her parent did to her, but there was some dark stuff, and she forgave him all the way up. And you know, I mean, like she forgave him and things, and she knows she wasn't holding no grudges. But it's like it's an inspiring story. I'm like, it's dark, but it's overall an inspiring story and stuff. And I'm like, you know, it's, at times it's like just things you gotta like let go of, move on, and you know, it's like to just don't have that anger and you know that like holding grudges and stuff in your heart. It's like, you know, don't live life like that. It's like just because at the end of the day, it's gonna be you think you damaging that individual by holding a grudge or being angry towards them, and it's like you also damaging yourself at the same time. So anyways, and that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode now. I ain't gonna do no promo stuff. I feel like it was a serious episode, so you know, just trying to inspire some, because there are some things I did see on the internet that you know, overall inspired me to do this episode. So yeah, I just felt like I needed to do it real quick. So anyways, and that being said, thank you guys for tuning in for today's episode, and peace.